You're 45, you're exhausted, you're not sleeping the way you used to, you've gained weight around your middle, and maybe you're more irritable, anxious, and you just don't feel like yourself. So you go to the doctor, they order some blood work, everything comes back normal. Now what? I see versions of this scenario all the time in women in midlife, and today I want to walk you through how I think about a patient like this as a primary care nurse practitioner. Because sometimes this is perimenopause, but we also don't want to blame every symptom a woman has in her 40s on hormones. First, could this actually be perimenopause? Well, absolutely. One misconception I hear frequently is that you need a blood test to diagnose perimenopause. In most women over 45 who have typical symptoms and changes in their menstrual cycle, we generally don't need hormone testing to make the diagnosis. Hormone levels can fluctuate significantly during the perimenopause transition. An FSH level that looks normal today doesn't necessarily tell me what your hormones have been doing over the past several months. What I'm much more interested is in your story. Have your periods changed? Are they coming closer together or farther apart? Are they heavier? Are you skipping periods? Are you having hot flashes or waking up sweating? How are you sleeping? Have you noticed changes in mood, concentrations, headaches, sexual function, vaginal symptoms, or urinary symptoms? Sometimes the patient doesn't even recognize these things as being connected until we go through the timeline together. But I don't want to stop at perimenopause. Here is where primary care becomes really important. A 45-year-old woman with fatigue, weight changes, and poor sleep may be experiencing perimenopause, but that doesn't mean I automatically attribute everything to estrogen. I'm still thinking about the rest of her health. Could she have thyroid disease? Is she anemic, especially if her periods have been very heavy? Could there be iron deficiency? How much is she actually sleeping? Does she snore? Could sleep apnea be contributing? Has her mood changed? What medications is she taking? What's happening with alcohol? How active is she? Is she losing muscle? What's happening with her blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose? That's the difference between treating a symptom and taking care of a whole woman. What about the weight gain? Weight is another area where I think women deserve a better explanation than simply your metabolism slowed down. Aging itself contributes to changes in body composition. We tend to lose muscle unless we're actively working to preserve it. Sleep disruption can affect appetite and activity. Lifestyle patterns may change. And menopause is associated with changes in where fat tends to accumulate, particularly toward the abdomen. So, when a woman tells me I'm doing everything the same and my body's changing, I don't dismiss that, but I also don't immediately jump to a restrictive diet. In midlife, I'm thinking about muscle preservation, adequate protein, resistance training, sleep, metabolic health, not simply making the number on the scale smaller. Does she need hormone therapy? This is where individualized care matters. Hormone therapy can be very effective for appropriate women with bothersome menopause symptoms, particularly hot flashes and night sweats. But I don't prescribe simply because someone is 45 and tired. I want to understand what symptoms we're treating, her medical history, her menstrual history, cardiovascular and breast health considerations, medications, and her individual goals. Sometimes hormone therapy is part of the plan, sometimes it isn't. And sometimes we're treating several things at the same time. I've spent years caring for adults and older adults in primary care. And one thing that experience has taught me is that what happens in your 40s and 50s matters tremendously for how you age. I'm not only thinking about how you feel this month, I am thinking about your bones, your muscle, cardiovascular health, metabolic health, cognition, and independence decades from now. Midlife isn't just something we need to get women through. It's an opportunity to identify risks earlier and change the trajectory to health. So if you are in your 40s or 50s and you're exhausted, your body is changing, and someone told you everything is normal because your labs are normal, don't assume that means nothing is happening. It may be perimenopause, it may be something else, and very often there are several things happening at once. A good evaluation starts with listening to the whole story. I'm Myra Ludinger, a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner, and here I talk about evidence-based primary care, menopause, and healthy aging for women in midlife. If those are topics you care about, subscribe. I have a lot more coming up.